Hi everybody, welcome to the 757Teamz High School Football Chat. I'm Jami Frankenberry.
And I'm Larry Rubama.
The show is presented by our sponsors, Lions Bridge Financial Advisors, with offices in Virginia Beach and Newport News. Larry, let's rewind a little bit, look back at last week's games. We had a couple teams who really surprised us. I guess we'll start out with Norcom. The Greyhounds are 2-0. They win over Lafayette. They snapped Lafayette's 46-game regular season winning streak. And I have a question for you, Larry. Are you finally on the Greyhounds bandwagon?
I'm on the bus, man. I'm on the bus. You know what's interesting is that they didn't just beat two good teams. They beat two teams that are perennial powerhouses over and over. They did it on the road. And that's the thing that impressed me most about Norcom, what they were able to do. But I talked to Coach Larry Archie, and he says, Larry, we can't get too high, we can't get too low. We played each week, and that cliche really goes with them. They had two tough games to begin with. Now they come back, start playing some Eastern District teams, but they're rolling right now, and he's just trying to keep them calm, not get too high, not get too low. Let's just keep playing and keep playing our style of football.
Yeah, Norcom's defense has been really good. They beat Hopewell, and then last week they beat Lafayette. Two really high-powered offenses, so the Greyhounds look really good. Now another surprise. Now Deep Creek, 29-7 over Grassfield. The Hornets celebrated with an ice water or a Gatorade bath for new coach Andre Twine. They are 1-0 for the first time since 2006, which is crazy. They beat the Grizzlies for the first time since 2007. What do you think of the Hornets?
I love them, but we've said all along, we shouldn't be totally surprised. Twine promised. He took over a struggling middle school program, they won. Took over a struggling JV program, they won. Now, some of those exact same players are now with him on varsity. He wants to prove that, hey, we have talent in the school. We just weren't getting them out there. We weren't getting the full production from them. You watch out for the Hornets. I mean, they could be stinging somebody.
But yeah, that was a big statement. 29-7 over Grassfield. Now, Grassfield, we kind of knew had some question marks. So, we thought maybe they would struggle, but Deep Creek really played well. And I think that momentum will really mean a lot, that first win.
Oh, without a doubt. They're going to carry that and say, see, look, he can say, hey, see, look, I told you, if you play my program, do what I say to do, we can win. They win the first game, who knows what's going to happen the rest of the season.
Yeah, now a team that has kind of stumbled out of the gates is Bishop Sullivan Catholic. The Crusaders are 0-2. They have played really tough competition.
Very tough.
But Larry, the Crusaders, I know you talked to Chris Scott. They got to be wondering, when that first win is coming.
Yeah, the offense hasn't been what he thought it was yet, and one reason why is with Jake Lowe now done for the season. I mean, he was a hard, punishing runner who gave them a spark, not only running the ball, but also receiving the ball. That's going to be huge. That's going to be now other players got to step up. Like Amani Chapman had a great game coming back after not playing the first game, as well as, some of those guys are going to step up. Mike Martinez at running back. So other people are going to step up. This week, they go on the road again. So we'll see what happens, but they got to get together. And as Chris Scott said, we got to get a win in the column. We got to get a win in the column. They've fallen out of the top 100 in every poll that I've looked at. But now it's time to look at it, say, hey, let's regain ourselves, get our composure back, and start winning some games.
Yeah, the other poll they fell in is the Southampton Rhodes poll. They were number one, really overwhelmingly number one for the first 2 weeks. But that 0-2 start, they only scored 15 points in 2 games. Now, that's national competition they're playing. But I think the voters, I know I dropped them from number one. I kept them in the top 3. But I think you got to score more than 15 points no matter who you're playing. What do you think about the Crusaders?
I dropped them as well. I mean, you're 0-2, but we thought they were going to be one of the top teams in the country anyway. So if you're going to be in the top 100, you got to play these top teams. You got to play who is on your schedule. That's what coaches tell us all the time. So they got to get it together. They got to get this thing turned around. And last year, remember, they lost some games that they shouldn't have lost last year. Then the end of the season, they played IMG really tough. So Chris Scott will get them together. I'm sure he's going to have them rebound.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to panic. And, that doesn't mean that Bishop Sullivan wouldn't be a favorite against any of the top 10 teams. But right now they're 0-2. It's hard to put an 0-2 team at number one. So now, number one, Lake Taylor Titans. They assume the number one spot. I know you saw them play Western Branch. A freshman running back had 150 yards rushing. Larry, what did you see out of the Titans?
Remember the name Malik Newton. Not only on the football field, on the basketball court, but he's also a major league prospect. This kid went in there. He said he was, anxious and was ready to play. He didn't show it. His first run, he breaks off a 50-yard touchdown run. Second touch, he breaks it off for 53 yards. A big back, strong back. He's hard to pull down. And they still got Deion Smith and a great defense. That game looked on paper, in the paper, it looked like it was close, but it actually wasn't. Lake Taylor fumbled twice inside the Western Branch 10, and it gave Western Branch second hopes that they could do something. But Lake Taylor looks good.
Yeah, Lake Taylor takes over #1. Oscar Smith's at #2. They were idle. So let's look ahead now to this week's games. And I really think the marquee game this week, Larry, is in the Beach District. Tallwood 2-0. The Lions looking for that respect. They're not in the top 10 yet. But I think they will be if they win this week. They play at Ocean Lakes, Larry.
It should be a great game. I just spoke to Joe Jones, and he was saying that this team he's had a year under his belt. Now they're learning his system. He's feeling confident. They got some great players with Tyler Browning running for 241 yards, 5 touchdowns this season in 2 games. He's running well. The defense is playing well. Jones, he's excited about what this team can do, but he says, look, we got to take it 1 week at a time. We hear that cliche all the time, but he says in this, we have to. Now we get ready for this week. So they got a big, tough game against Tallwood, though. Yeah,
that's a matchup of 2 really good running backs. You mentioned Tyler Browning. Antoine Cade, Tallwood, kind of came out of nowhere. He's replacing Breon Mosley, who ran wild last year for the Lions. Cade has 310 yards and 5 touchdowns, so he's going up against Tyler Browning. We'll see how that goes. The other big game this week, Western Branch at Kings Fork. Now, I know you saw the Bruins last week. You saw the debut of Bryquan Harrell, basketball star turned quarterback. What did you think?
Very impressive. Didn't throw the ball, didn't complete a pass, unless you count the 2 interceptions he threw to Lake Taylor players, but he looked good. He was able to find holes, able to spread it out. He got some other backs back there. I mean, he rushed for 139 yards, 2 touchdowns. As Hank Sawyer said from Lake Taylor, the Lake Taylor coach said, watch out. With him there, he's going to open some things out. Watch out for the Bruins. I think they got a good chance. But Kings Fork is also good, loaded, and they got a lot of talent.
Yeah, Kings Fork has a really high-powered offense. They scored 41 in the season opener against Wilson. Scotty Littles, the former Lansdowne linebacker, has them playing really well. What do you think of the Bulldogs, Larry?
I like the Bulldogs. They're a lot of talent. They got the running game, passing game. They got good defense. They got young players, experienced players, defense. They got it all. The thing with them is depth. Do they have enough depth to be able to play those bigger teams as the game goes on? We'll find out this week.
Yeah, full slate of games Friday night. Oscar Smith at Great Bridge. Oscar Smith was idle last week. Cox plays Granby in an interesting non-district matchup at Powhatan Field. You can check out our high school football picks in Friday's paper. Also check them out at 757Teamz.com. You know you can get all the highlights and all the videos and updates on Friday nights at 757Teamz on Twitter. Again, we want to thank our sponsors, Lions Bridge Financial Advisors with locations in Virginia Beach and Newport News. That does it, and we'll see you at the game.